Thank you all. I think we can open up. We've got about 22 minutes for questions. People are lining up. I'm going to try to take multiple questions at a time so that we can be most efficient. So let's start over here, one here, and then one here, and then another one, and then we'll try to parse these out.
Okay, my name is Mehmet. I'm from Georgetown University. If I may, I will be asking two questions. Well, the first question will be about the financing issue. As far as I can understand from all these presentations, there's a huge willingness to invest, but there's a total limitation from the government. When these limitations are done, they're going to start the financing issue. So my question is, who is going to finance that? Is there a financial capacity in the region, or do we wait for others to come by and finance these projects? And the second one is related to my first question. We have been talking about United States and European Union influence on the region, or the moves of these actors to change the region. What about BRIC countries? Brazil, Russia, India, and China. How do you consider their roles in the transition? Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second question, last part.
The role of BRIC countries in the transition period.
The role of three countries?
BRIC.
Greek?
BRIC, B-R-I-C.
Oh, BRIC.
Yeah.
God,
sorry for my accent, I'm not native. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry for my ears. Okay.
Thank you. On the subject of Libya, rentier economies have often proved detrimental, if not deadly, to the establishment of democratic institutions as well as institutions necessary for the growth of a vibrant economy. What steps, if any, has the transitional government there taken to avoid this fate? And if none have been taken, what kind of suggestions might you give the new Libyan government? Thank you.
Okay, and one more.
Yeah, this is for actually for Ambassador Taylor. I'm Don Yacco. I was previously the Senior Communications Advisor for PEPFAR. And I'm now with the Center for Health Policy Research and Ethics at George Mason. So my question, Ambassador Taylor, is specifically about PEPFAR, which is a very successful program that has helped build up health infrastructure as well as AIDS relief.
Could you get a little closer to the mic or something?
Yeah, so my question is about PEPFAR, which has not only helped with AIDS relief, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, but also in the Middle East to some extent. But it has also built up healthcare infrastructure. So, and you can't really have a vibrant economy, as we know in the United States, without a healthcare infrastructure. So I'm wondering what the United States is doing right now to ensure the continuity of that program and others that deal with healthcare.
Okay. Who would like to take the BRIC and financing resource capability question? Dr. Odeh. And then on Libya and the question about renter economies having their shaky qualities and what can be done to obviate those risks. Dr. Abdellatif, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay, and then Bill for the, okay. Dr. Odeh?
On the financing question, there is no doubt that the region has plenty of financial resources. If you look at the savings of the private sector in the Arab region, and if you look at the savings of the sovereign wealth funds, we're talking about $2.5 trillion that's mainly sitting abroad, parked outside the Arab region. But for any investor to go into any region, stability matters. Rule of law matters. Until these issues are embedded in Arab societies, I don't see any investor. I don't see even Arab investors. There are plenty of opportunities in Egypt. There are plenty of opportunities in Tunisia, in Jordan, in Morocco. But stability matters, and therefore it behooves all of us to make sure that the transition is democratic, is peaceful, and that the new economic measures will give equal opportunity, equal access to finance. Now, regarding the role of Russia, Brazil, China, and India, there is no doubt that these countries have a lot of resources, and these countries are looking for, I mean, the Chinese are looking for investment opportunities. The Indians, you go to Dubai, they're looking for investment opportunities. So on the economic side, I think there are opportunities, but we have to go back to the politics. And the opportunity is here to establish democratic institutions. And when we talk about democratic institutions, we're not just talking about free elections. We're talking about rule of law. We're talking about the rights of minorities as equal citizens, not just protected minorities.
Dr. Abdellatif?
Well, if I understand the question, it was about the future of the economy in Libya, the rentier economy that has been asked. The first thing, when the events in Libya took place, I tried to find information about this country. I mean, of course, we have some indicators and some statistics, but you'll find this is among the ill-researched countries in the Middle East. You will find very little, actually, literature about it. So anybody who would like to talk with authority, it should be somebody from Libya itself. But what we can say that in the last 4 decades, or since 1969, the country has been encapsulated in one person. So you will find a big void in a public administration. So whatever the Libyans will have to do at the beginning is building actually the state itself. There is no ministry, there are no ministries, there was no parliament, there was no system actually inside the country itself. It was totally centralized. I'm not saying in a leadership, but it's in one person. So that's a challenge itself. The only thing that the Libyans, they have actually, the positive thing, they have a source of income. But this source of income may be the curse in the meantime, because how this will be managed in a transparent way, how the resources will be used and shared among the population itself. It may be a reason or a cause for conflict if it will not be well managed at the beginning, rather than be a source of growth for this country. And I think if this will not happen in the first few months, then I will not speak with any positive sense about this country. If they will not have an agreement among the different political forces, how they will manage their source of income, that actually will become, as I said, a source of conflict. They have to live for some time as based on this is one source. I mean, it will be very difficult actually to imagine diversification in the Libyan economy in the next 5 to 10 years, because they don't have any tourism industry, which actually is one of the sectors that can attract actually tourists from Northern Europe. It depends also how much they will welcome to invest in this sector and what will be the ideology of the coming new government. That will decide if they go this way or not. The other thing is how much also they will depend on foreign labor, because until the events, they were depending highly on labor either from Egypt or other countries in North Africa, and also from Africa itself. This is another problem that they have to face with it, because they don't have the adequate human resources to manage the transition itself, whether in the private sector or inside the government. Inside the government itself used to depend a lot also on some experts coming from other Arab countries. So to get out of this rentier economy in a short period, I don't imagine that this will happen. The most important thing, how will be a government structure that will be able to manage the resources with a lot of transparency, and you have to think also about the other countries in the region. Until now, we don't have any model of the management of oil resources in a transparent manner. We don't know how much income is coming out of it, how it is used, and how it is distributed.
Thank you. Ambassador Taylor?
The question on health. in the 3 countries that I mentioned, of course, we have been working in Egypt for a long time, for 30 years, on a range of issues, including health. And great progress, actually, has been made on this. In Tunisia, it is well known in the region that it has hospital capabilities, healthcare capabilities, health technology capabilities that are used by many of the countries in the region. In Libya, where the fighting has generated, has caused a lot of damage to people and a lot of amputees and a lot of wounded warriors, we have begun a program to bring some of these wounded soldiers, warriors, to the United States. And the U.S. government put together a program to bring 24 Libyans, young men, to a hospital in Boston 2-3 weeks ago now, with all of the care that is being provided by this state-of-the-art, one of the most modern hospitals for prosthetics and other trauma-related injuries in the world. Unfortunately, the United States has a lot of experience recently with war injuries. So we are providing that, and we are going to continue to help on that, but the Libyan government, as I said earlier, has a lot of resources. It is going to pick up that responsibility and pick up that program using a private sector, a non-governmental organization, international medical non-governmental organization, to identify other wounded soldiers and bring them to the United States, also bringing them to Europe. We will follow up this program with the work in pharmaceuticals. And again, our private sector, I mentioned earlier, one of the important components of our assistance to these 3 countries is going to be to motivate and generate support from our private sector. The private sector has contributed dramatically to this effort in Libya, to provide pharmaceuticals, equipment, as well as other healthcare services. So those are the 3 things in those 3 countries but others may have something to contribute.